Yes, good evening, everyone. I'm audible to you. Okay. Then online, now you don't have to log out before your name. It is a thing. No problem. Okay. So let me start the session. So before that, let me just revise what we have discussed yesterday. So in yesterday's session, we have discussed about the yes. So we discussed yesterday about like OU is a container which can be used to logical container which can be used to organize the active objects like users based on department. And it is also used, OU is also used to give the delegation control, means giving some of the administrator privilege to other user. So that we have done. Yes. And then we also discussed that OU can be also used to apply the group policy. And we discussed about the group yesterday. So there is a fundamental differences between OU and the group. OU is used to apply the group policy, whereas group is used to apply the permission. So don't get confused. Group cannot be used to apply group policy, and OU cannot be used to apply the permission. OU is used to apply the group policy, whereas group is used to apply the permission. Remember, in OU, we can add the new users. By using the OU, we can create a new users from the OU itself. But whereas from the group, we cannot create new user from the group. Only we can add existing users. And one user can be a member of multiple groups, but one user cannot be a member of more than one OU. And if you delete the OU with users, users also get deleted. But when you delete the group with users, users will not get deleted. So this is the difference between OU and the group. Now, yes, yesterday, as I informed you, after the OU, we are directly going to discuss today the group policy. So this active directory second and third class we will discuss later. Once we discuss the group policy, then we'll start all the servers. Once it is finished, then we will come in sequence order to discuss the active directory second class, third, fourth, and fifth. So that will be easier to understand, and we don't have to do much changes in the setup. And after the OU, we are discussing group policy to have the continuation of the sequence or continuation of this for yesterday's topic continuation, because OU is also used to apply the group policy. Okay, and we don't have to make any much changes when we discuss this after the OU group policy. If you discuss after the OU active directory second class and third, then we have to make the changes in the setup, and the continuation will be broken. So for that purpose, after the OU, we are directly discussing the group policy. Okay, so let's start today's session about the topic called group policies. So first we'll start with the definition. Group policy means it is a collection of settings or collection of settings which can be applied by the administrator on the users and computer as per the company requirement to implement the policies of the company. To implement the policies of the company. Okay, so I repeat, Group policy is a collection of settings which can be applied on users and computer as per the company policies to implement or to apply the policies of the company. So here you can see group policy is a collection of settings which can be applied on computers and users. Who can apply this? Only by the administrator as per the requirement or as per the policies of the company. Every company will have certain policies which they want to implement on their employees or on their computer. So this can be done. This can be done with the help of the group policy. So group policy is a collection of settings which can be applied on the computer and users as per the company or organization policy requirements. So group policy is a collection of settings which can be applied on computers and users as per the company policy requirement. So this can be applied, group policies can be applied by the administrator from the DC machine to manage the computers and users as per the company requirement. Okay. So with the help of the group policy, administrator can centrally manage all the computers and users, which eases means makes the administrator job more simple with the help of the group policy. Okay. How it will eases the administration workload with the help of the group policy, we'll see. Okay. And let's move to now. So the group policies can be implemented by the administrator on the users and computers as per their policies. So these policies, these group policies can be implemented by the administrator. Now you see here how it will reduce the workload of the administrator. Suppose the company policy is they want when the user log in onto their machine on their computer icon, normally these icons will appear. If it is not appearing, we can go to the, as a user also we can do. We can go to the Windows key. In the search, we can type icons, go to the show or hide icons, check the boxes. You will get these icons. So now the company want computer icon, recycle beam, Internet Explorer should not be available on the user's desktop. So these icons should not appear on their desktop. So now as the administrator, this policy of the company you have to implement. So will you go to each machine and then you just uncheck it? If you uncheck, again the user can check it. So will you go to each machine and then you will go to the user desktop and uncheck them? No. If you uncheck also, there is no use. They will again check it. So it has to be blocked from the DC machine so that the user login from any machine, if they try to enable this icon also, it will not get enabled. It will be blocked from the DC machine itself. So when the user sit on their any machine, these icons will not be highlighting, will not get enabled. So they cannot get this icon. So this is what we can implement with the help of the group policy by sitting on the DC machine. We never have to go to the user machine, and we will able to do it from the DC machine such that the user login from any machine, they will not get these icons. So this is the effect we can have on the users and computer with the help of the group policy. So now the company want these icons should not be appearing on their desktop. So normally it will be there before before you apply the group policy. These are the icons. Now the company don't want computer icon, Internet Explorer, and recycle bin. So these three icons should be blocked. So who has to block this? Administrator. From where? From the DC machine. So this can be done by the administrator from DC machine. So how to do that? We'll be seeing the practical. But now you see the effect. Before the policy, it is like that. Now after the group policy is applied, now can you see the difference? Yes. So this is what we can able to achieve or do with the help of the group policy. So if you want to apply this group policy, can we apply the group policy wherever we want? No. For that some rule, some protocol we have to follow. So that is called hierarchy of the group policy. So please remember these group policies cannot be applied wherever we want. Group policy can be applied. The group policies can be applied on three things. What are those three things? One is the group policies can be applied on OU. Second on domain. Third one is the site. So in which case, in which scenario we'll apply the policy on OU, domain and site, we need to understand. So that depends on the requirement. So we'll take the scenario, we'll try to understand when we will apply the group policy on OU, domain and site. Okay. So let us first understand when we will apply the group policy on the OU. Suppose we are working on the domain model. Let us understand. So here, domain model is represented as triangle. So in my case, I created my domain with what name? Zoom.com. Now here we have a DC. Here I have DC. Now here I have some employees, users, U1, U2, like this, U3, 100 employees are there. Now the company want, the 25 employees, U1 to U25 employees should not get the computer icon. Now there are 100 employees. Out of 100 employees, 25 employees should not get the computer icon when they log into their machine. So now where you will apply the policy? You will apply the policy on OU, domain or site. Tell me. Now given you one scenario. 100 employees are there. Out of 100 employees, the policy of restriction of computer icon on desktop should be applied to 25 users. Not all users, only 25 users. Remaining 75 should get the computer icon. 25 users should not get. So now where we should apply this policy? On OU, domain or site? Tell me. So I'm getting the answer OU. Yes, very nice. So yes. So when you want the policy to be applied to few users, create one OU with any name, then add these users into the OU. We know how to create the OU, how to add the users into the OU yesterday. Then apply the policy on the OU. So this 25 users should not get the computer icon. So we have to apply the policy on the OU. So when we will apply the policy on OU, when we want to apply, when we want to apply the policy, when we want to apply the policy to not all users, but few users. Whenever we want to apply some policy to few users, then we need to apply the policy on OU. So when we apply the policy on OU, the users who are inside the OU, to them only it will apply. It will not apply to the other users who are outside the OU. Now the users who are outside the OU, like U26 to U100, will it get the policy when we apply the policy on OU? No. So when we want to apply the policy to apply to few users, we need to apply the policy on OU. So when we apply the policy on OU, the users who are inside the OU, they will get that policy, not the other users. So uh, now the users who are inside this OU, U1 to U25, example, these users will get that restriction of computer icon, not the other users. I hope you are following. Now the company want all the 100 employees, should not get the computer icon on their desktop. Now where do you apply? Where do you apply? Yes, we have to apply the policy on domain. So when we want to apply the policy to all the users of a particular domain, particular means single domain, then we need to apply the policy on domain. So now here, this is my domain. So when I apply the policy on zoom.com, there is no need to apply the policy now on the OU. So once I apply the policy on my domain, all the users who are inside the OU or outside the OU, all of them will get the policy. So when we apply the policy on domain, so it will apply the policy to all the users, whether they are inside the OU or outside the OU. It will apply the policy to all the users. It will apply the policy to all the user of a particular or single domain. Then when we will apply the policy on site, so for that you have to understand that we'll be discussing this in the second class of Active Directory. So suppose your company is having multiple branches like the bigger companies will have. Now suppose your company is having multiple branches. Maybe in Hyderabad they started this branch. Now in the Bangalore they have another domain. So your company branch only. So they created one domain like this. So the first domain which you have created, that is called parent domain. The domain which you have created, the first domain which you have created, that is called parent domain. After that, whatever domain you are creating, that is called child domain. Now in the Bangalore also there are about 50 employees. So if you have created the domain controller should be there. For one domain controller should be there. So now there also the users are there, like M1, M2, up to like 50 users. So when we apply the policy on particular domain, it will apply the policy to all the user of particular domain, but it doesn't apply the policy to multiple domain. So when you want to apply the policy to multiple domain, then where we have to apply the policy? So suppose if I apply the policy on child domain or parent domain, so then that policy will apply to that particular domain If I apply to parent domain, it will apply to parent domain. If I apply to child domain, it will apply to child domain user. But I want to apply the policy to all the user, whether they are in the parent domain or in the child domain. Like some policies will be there, whether the branches in India or US for any multinational branch. So if they want certain policies to be implemented to all the employees, wherever they are working in the world. So to apply that policy, where we have to apply the policy now to cover the users of multiple domain, where we have to apply the policy. Yes, site. This is what you have to remember. Very nice. So site means, just you can remember this in active fifth class we'll be discussing how to create our own site. Today you just remember site means the location or the place, location where our servers are kept. Our servers, location or the place where our servers are kept, that is called site. So when we apply the policy on site, it will apply the policy to all the users of multiple domain, that is multiple domain, that is it will apply the policy to parent domain and child domain. This is what you have to remember. When you apply on a single domain, either parent domain or child domain, it will apply to that. But when you apply the policy on site, it will apply to the multiple domain, whether it is a parent domain or child domain. I hope you are following. So that is called site. So where our servers are there, suppose in this example, Hyderabad in Bangalore. So if you want to cover all the employees of Hyderabad branch also, Bangalore branch. So we need to apply the policy on site. Is it clear? Is it clear to everyone? Yes, please tell me. Did you understood the difference? So when you apply the policy on site, you don't have to apply the policy separately on domain and OU. So when you apply the policy on site, automatically it will cover the domain and OU. If you apply the policy on domain, it will cover a particular domain on which you are applying. So inside that domain, if any OU is there, to that it will automatically apply. But it will not apply to the other domains when you apply the policy on domain. And if you want to apply the policy to only few users, then you have to create the OU, then apply the policy. I hope it is clear to everyone now. Is it clear? Okay, fine. So please remember this. So when you want to apply the policy to few users, do it on the OU. When you want to apply the policy to all the user of a particular domain, do it on domain. Then it will not cover the users of other domain. If you want to apply the policy to all the users of multiple domain, then do it on the site. Site means the location or the place where our servers are kept. Okay. So this is the very important point which we have to understand. Okay. Now we will see the examples. Now suppose this is your domain. So here, multiple domains are there. Multiple domains are there. First domain will be always your parent domain. First domain is your parent domain. And the rest of the domains, are child domain. So you can remember this is your first domain. So this is called your parent domain. So parent can be only one, remember, and you can have any number of child domain. Now suppose you want to apply the policy to all the users of this domain also, this domain also, this domain. So we need to apply the policy on site. So when you want to apply the, so when we apply the policy on the site, it covers, or that policy will apply to all the users of multiple domain, not single domain, multiple domain. So when we apply the policy on site, it will cover all the users of multiple domain. This is what you have to remember. And when you want to apply the policy to all the users of a particular domain, like here, here you have to hide Internet Explorer or computer icon or recycle bin to particular user. So domain policy is applied when you want to apply the policy to all users of a particular domain, single domain. Then we will apply the policy on domain. So when we apply the policy on domain, it will cover the users of that particular domain, not all particular domain users. Okay. Now, if you want to apply some policy only on few users, only on the few users, then we need to apply the policy on OU. So the users who are inside that OU, to them only that policy will apply. So when we apply the OU group policy, it will apply the policy to the few users of a particular domain. So it will apply the policy to few users. To which user it will apply? To the few users who are joined into the OU, who are inside the OU. So those users who are inside the OU. Who are inside the OU. To them only it will apply. So this is the difference. So with this, we have done with today's theory part. Shall we start the practical? Shall we start the practical? Okay, so first we will apply the policy on OU. So we already know how to create the OU. We discussed yesterday. So first we'll create the OU. Yesterday we deleted the OU. So let's start the practical now. So for that we need two machines.
अच्छा कॉलेज में डाल के रखो बच्चे को
Okay, so let's start our machine. So when the machine get on, meanwhile, while the machine get on, we can see the practical steps. So first we'll see. Today's practical is about the applying the group policy on OU. So this is our today's practical group policies. So for that, you go to your DC machine. You go to the DC machine, open the ADUC console. Open the ADUC machine. Oh, sorry, open the DC machine, open the ADUC console. Then create one OU like we have discussed yesterday with any name. Now add user into that. Now, whenever you want to apply the policy to few users, so add those users into the OU. Which user you want to apply the policy to the OU. Then whenever, so the group policies can be applied on OU domain or site. So whenever you are applying the policy either on OU domain or site, which console we have to use to apply the group policy? GPM console. So open the GPM console, expand forest domain. Then you can find your OU which you have created. Right click on that OU to apply the policy on OU. Then first create one GPO. GPO means group policy object. Then, then, then after creating the GPO, in that GPO, click on create a GPO. In that you have to write what is the requirement. What is your requirement that you have to write. Suppose my requirement is the user should not get the particular department user should not get the computer icon. So I'll write that remove or block computer icon. Then one OU is created. On that OU, now apply the policy. Right click on that GPO which you have created. So I repeat, to apply the policy on the OU, create first OU, then open the GPM console, select your OU, first create your GPO. So in the GPO, you write what is your requirement. After writing the requirement, right click on the GPO. Then to apply the policy, right click on the GPO which you have created. Then click on edit. After right click, then go to users configuration under that expand policies. Then administer template. Go to the desktop. Then from there you can disable or remove the computer icon. So now these two users who are in that OU will not get the computer icon. Other users can get it. So this is your first practical. Let me show you. Okay, 1 minute. Okay, now let me show you this practical. Now my DC machine is ready. My DC machine is ready. So let me go to the DC machine, log in as administrator, because who can apply the policies? Only administrator. So how can I know this is my DC machine? Go to the command prompt and type it, net space accounts. So it is showing computer role name primary. Okay. Okay. Now this is my DC. So first I'll create one OU. So to create the OU, go to the ADUC console from tools. Now to create the OU, select this OU, select this domain name, right click, new OU. So I'm creating one OU with the name sales department. While creating only, I'm unchecking this check box. Yesterday we have seen that, yes. So it will be easier for me to delete. Now I'm having some users inside it, like the S1. So I'm creating these users without password so that I can log in easily. So I have created two users here. So these are the users who are inside the OU. The company requirement is these users should not get the computer icon. So before the policy is applied, if I log in with any one user, they will get the computer icon by default with the help of the icons. So by default, only one option will be enabled, that is recycle beam. But by going to the search, we can just type icons and we can get all the icons, including the computer icon, like here. S1 is logged in. Now I'm just typing icons. Then I'm going to the show or hide icons. So all the boxes I can do. Yes. So these users who are in the OU, like all normal users, will get all the icons, including computer icon. But my company want the users who are in sales department S1 and S2, they should not get the computer icon. So now, if I go to the user's machine and remove the computer icon, they can again get it by same process. And when they change an everyday machine, every day you will go there. There is no point applying the policy by user's machine. So you have to block it from the DC machine. How to do that? We'll see now. So to apply the policy, What I need to do as the administrator, go to which console? GPM console from DC machine. So now let me go to the server manager console, open the GPM console. To apply the group policy on OU domain or site, we have to go to GPM. Now here you can see it is like that. So first expand forest domain, then your domain name. What is the OU we have created? It will appear here under our domain name. So just now, few minutes back, we have created OU with what name? Sales. Yes. Now we want to apply the policy on OU, sales OU in our case. So select the OU under the domain name. Now, who are the users in the sales department? S1 and S2 should get the restriction. So select the OU, right click. Then to apply the policy, first you have to create the, to apply the group policy, first you have to create a GPO. GPO means group policy object. So right click on the sales OU, first option, click on create a GPO. In that you write the requirement. So what is my requirement? Remove the computer icon. So there is no rule it should be written like this or like that. You have to just write in a simple way which you can remember. So now once you expand your OU, what GPO you have created, it will appear here. Now this is the GPO. So click on that GPO, it will get highlighted. Okay. Now apply the group policy on this GPO. So when you want to apply the policy, first go to that OU domain or site where you want, select it, right click, then create one GPO. Then to apply the policy, select the GPO, right click, click on edit. Then this window will come. So earlier to reduce the password length, to reduce the wrong password attempt, to allow the user to log in from DC machine, we were using this option computer because we were implementing the policy on computer. But now we need to apply the policy on users. So to apply the policy on users, group policy on users, you have to go to users configuration. Don't go to the computer. You go to the users configuration, then expand the policies under the users configuration, expand the policies, it is like that. So expand the policies under users configuration. So once you expand the users, you will find their administrative template. Expand the administrative template. So computer icon will appear where? On desktop. So double click on the desktop. Go to the administrative template, then go to the desktop. So here, can you see your requirement? Remove the computer icon from the desktop. See here, there are so many options. Out of that, here you can hide the Internet Explorer by this option. You want to remove the computer icon here, this is okay. So select double click on this option. Now this option will come, this window will come. So here this policy is not configured. If you want to configure the policy, select enabled. Enabled means this policy is configured. So select here enable to apply the policy. Then click on apply. Okay. Now whenever you use the group policy, as we discussed earlier, when we want to apply the policy through GPM console, always update it. Once the policy is applied, you update it. So how to update? Go to the run command, type it GP update. Okay. Now you check the result. How do you check the result? How do you check the result? Go back to the here. Now just refresh here. Just to log out and re-log in. So earlier S1 was having computer icon. Now just log in here. Now will you get the computer icon? No, it is removed. See here. This is the effect of the group policy. If the user is smart, he'll go to the icons, settings, press the Windows key icon setting. Show right icon. But now this will not highlight. So can you enable it now? No. This is the effect of the group policy. So this is the user I logged in and I assigned. So now it is removed. Let us check to the one new user. Yes to. Now log in to the yes to. Now he'll get only one icon, recycle bin. So to get the other icons, simply press Windows key icons, show or hide icons. So you can check other boxes, but you will not able to get the computer icon. So the policy is applied, yes. But if the user is smart, the computer icon is blocked so that they should not go to the C drive. But if the user is smart, he'll go to the run command. He will type this C:/. Or now he is able to go to the C drive. Or if he is smart, he will also do like this. He'll open the browser. From here also he can access. So this we can block by now next task is now the users are doing like this. Now we need to block it from the administrator, the C drive. From the DC machine, we have to block the C drive if the users are doing like this. So that is our next practical continuation. How to restrict the C drive. So when we block the computer icon, they are going from the C drive. So now our next practical is how to restrict the C drive. So that we will see after the break. So shall we have a break? So shall we have a break? Okay, so we'll have a break. After the break, we'll continue. Okay, shall we start? Yes, shall we start the next topic? Continuation of that, how to block the C drive. Okay, so now we'll restrict the C drive. So to restrict the C drive on the OU, same. We need to go to the OU under the GPM console, right click on that, create one new GPO. Then on that GPO, which you have created, right click, then edit, go to the users policy, administrator template, Windows component, file explorer. There you can see prevent the access, enable it. Now the user can't go. So this is your second practical. Let me show you. Let me show you here. So I came to my DC machine. I came to my DC machine. Now to apply the group policy, already OU is created. So we need to go to the GPM console. Then again, select the OU, right click, create first one GPO. Now what is our requirement? Restrict, block, anything, prevent, you can write restrict C drive on the OU users. Now, okay. Select this, which GPO you have created. Okay. Now apply the policy. Right click, edit, then go to the users. We have to do everything under users. So that if user login from any machine, same policy apply. Policies, administrative templates, yes. Then here you have to go to the under administrative templates, you have to go to the Windows component. Go to the Windows component, expand the Windows component. After expanding the Windows component, you go to the File Explorer. Can you see here? First expand the under administrative template. Go to the Windows component, then File Explorer, double click here. Now slowly you come down, you can find somewhere at the bottom, prevent the access to my drive. So can you see here? Prevent the access to the drive from my computer. So this policy is not configured. So double click on this. Now here anything is showing in the box? No. So once you enable it will show you this box you see it. Once I enable the policy, it is restricting all drives. When I don't apply, nothing will be there. So it is restricting drives, all drives, but we want to restrict which drive. So I drag down and select which drive you want to restrict. Only C drive. Apply. Okay, so whenever you use the GPM console, don't forget to update, GP update. For all policies, GP update is may not be required. For some policies, mandatory. For some, optional. But better always you update it. Okay, done. Now verify the result. Go to the member server. Go to the member server. After you apply the policy, that policy will apply after you log out. Now log in with that. Now you try to access now the C drive. Like Windows or C drive. Now what it is showing? The operation has been cancelled. Please contact your system administrator. If you are a smart user and if you are going from the here also, it will be blocked. From everywhere, it will be blocked now. For both these users, S1 and S2, who are in the group, to them only it will block, not to the other users. So who are outside the OU, to them it will not apply. The users who are inside the OU, to them only it will apply. Okay, so this is about your the application or the applying the group policy on the OU. So now we'll move to the second practical. Now our next requirement is block the notepad application to all users. So if you want to do to all the users means we need to apply the policy on domain. Now we applied the policy where? On the OU. So when you apply the policy on the OU, which users are there in the OU? To them only it will apply. It will not apply to the other users. So if you want to apply the policy not only to the users who belong to the OU, but also to the rest of the users, all users, then we need to do it on the domain. So our next policy is blocking the notepad application to all users. All users means we have to do it on the domain. So we don't have to create domain. Domain is already created. Domain is already created. No need to create the domain again. So go to the GPM console, expand forest, domain, right click on your domain name, create one GPO, then right click on the GPO, edit users configuration, policies, administrator template, system. Do not run Windows application. Which application you want to block? Notepad. So it will apply to all the users. Okay, so now it will apply to all the users. Then it will apply to all the users. Okay, now let me show you. So now applying the policy to all the users of a particular domain. So we have to do it on domain. So domain is already created. So go to the GPM console. Now earlier we applied the policy on OU. Now we need to apply it on domain. In my case, my domain name is what? Domain name is what? Zoom.com. So select the domain name, right click. First create a GPO. So my requirement is block notepad. Block the notepad. So here you can see my requirement return GPO. Click on that, say okay, it got selected. Now apply it. Right click, edit. Now go to the users, policies, then administer templates. Now go to the system here, double click on the system. So here, can you see here? Do not run specified Windows application. Under the system, go to this option. From the last to third one, do not run specified Windows application. Then now here, you can, this configuration is not configured. Once you configure it, here it will highlight, see here, enabled, it's showing. So which one you want to block, you have to write here. So now here write which application we want to block, notepad. So this application is having what extension in Windows .exe. .exe. Okay. Write it. Click on show, write it. Then say okay. Apply. Okay. Now the restriction will be applied to all the users, whether they are inside the OU or outside the OU. Now see here, where all our users will be there in ADUC console. So some users are inside the OU. Yes, one, yes, two. Some users are outside the OU, like U1, U2. To everybody, this policy will apply. So now log out. Now log in with first S1. So whether I did on the OU? No, but I did on the domain. So it will apply to everybody. Now can it open the Notepad application? No. So press Windows or write it. Notepad. So we can't do. This Notepad cannot be opened. This operation has been cancelled. Now go to the U1 now, who is outside the OU. Log in as a U1 or U2, any user. Now, can they open the Notepad application now? No. So when you apply the policy on domain, it will apply to everybody. Now, the interesting thing will be what? Whether when we apply the restriction on domain, will it cover the domain administrator also? Yes. System administrator of the second machine, local administrator will not come, but domain administrator will come. So how to do it? Domain administrator. So I came to the DC machine. See here. I came to the DC machine. Press Windows R. Now write it notepad. So even that when we apply the policy on domain, all the domain users, including domain administrator, will get the restriction. So you can see here, even when we apply the when we apply the policy on the domain, everybody will get that policy, including the domain administrator. So any sort of restriction is good for the domain administrator? Yes, tell me. Any sort of restriction is good for the domain administrator? Is it good to have restriction on the domain administrator? No. Then how to overcome this problem? So for that, very good solution is there. So whichever user is important to us when we apply the policy on domain, we can exclude that user from the policy. So what is the next we have to discuss? How to exclude or deny particular policy to a particular user. It can be a domain administrator or can be another domain user. So for that, you go to the GPM console, go to the domain, select that policy which you don't want, edit. Under action, go to the properties, security tab, add the name of that user. Now, okay, that policy will be now deny that policy. So over. Now that policy will not apply to that particular user. Okay. So now I'll show you that. Now let me show you that policy. Now the domain administrator is getting affected. So everything has to be done in DC. So again, go back to the DC machine, open again GPM console. Now, which policy you don't want? This notepad restriction for the domain administrator. So select this policy, right click, edit. After edit, one new window will come. Before new window also here action is there, but here also. But you edit which policy you don't want. You select and edit. After that, you go to the action. Please remember, I'm showing you one more time. Go to your policy which you don't want, select it, right click, edit. After that, edit, you go to the action, properties, then security, action, property, security. Now here add, write the domain administrator name. If it is U1, you write U1. If it is domain administrator, administrator at the rate domain name. Then check the name. Name is verified. Okay. Now this is your domain administrator. Select it. Now don't use the allow option. Use the deny option. So in the deny option, here you see deny group policy means now this policy will no longer will be applied to this user. Which user? Domain administrator. To rest of the user, it will be applied, but this policy will not be applied. Means it will be this policy will be excluded, or this restriction will not be applied to this domain user. So like this way you can do to any other user. Same method, same procedure. Now see here. Now after that GP update. Now can I able to open now Notepad application as a domain administrator? Yes, I can able to do it. So this is the option we can use. So Windows are Notepad. Now can you able to open? Yes. I hope you are following. Yes, understood everyone? Okay, nice. Now our last policy that will be applied on this site. Now our last policy which will be applied on this site. So now last thing for today, the group policy on this site. So here to create the site with our own name, we can do it on the 5th class. So by default site is there, on that we can apply. So first you go to the GPM console, select the domain name. We can apply the policy on domain, then integrate with the site. Expand the domain name, then select the domain, your domain name, right click, create one GPO. Now we are blocking the run command. Nobody should go to the run. Then right click on that GPO, expand, users configuration, policies, admin template, start menu. Then go to the start menu, edit, enable this policy. Then close that. Now integrate with the site. Now right click on the GPM console site, because we want to apply on site. Show site, check the box, default site. Now integrate that policy. Over. Now it will apply to all the users of multiple domain. Nobody can go to that policy. Okay. And nobody can able to go to the run command. So when we apply to the site, again, it will apply to the domain administrator. Again, if you want to exclude, you can exclude. Again, I'll show you. Okay. Okay. Now let us do it. Once again, go to the DC machine. Go to the GPM console. First, apply the policy on domain. To apply the policy on site, first select the domain name, right click. Now we are blocking the run command. So you can write any word, whichever you feel easier. So I'm writing restrict the run. So now apply the policy. Click on that, say OK, it will get selected. Now to apply the policy, right click, edit. Then go to the users. Under users configuration, expand policies. Then go to the administer templates. Then here is start menu, double click here. So here somewhere you can see remove the run command. Here, can you see here? Remove the run menu from start menu. So double click on this. Now this policy is not configured. To configure it, select enabled. Over. Apply policy. Okay. So this applied where on the domain, but we want to do it on site. So close this window. Now you'll come to the GPM console. There, can you see the site? Yes. Now integrate to the site. Select the site, right click. Second option, so show site. So here, check the box, default site. Now it will show the default site. Select the default site. Now apply the policy. Right click, link an existing policy. So which policy you want to apply on the site, select it and say OK. Over. Now select the, what I did after closing, I came to here, show site. Then I check the box. Okay, so here it will select. Then I went to the default site. Right click, link the policy. Which policy you want? I selected and say OK. Done. Now update it. GP update. Everything is done now. Now no user can able to go to the run command. So for that proof, you go to the member server, log in with any user, whether they are inside the OU or outside the OU. So I'm going this time with the user 2. Now can you go to the Windows R? No, I'm pressing Windows R to go to run command. Blocked. Now go to the S2 or S1 because they are in the OU. So when we apply it on the site, everybody will be covered. Now Windows R, restriction happen. So when we applied the policy on site or domain, even the domain administrator will not get that policy. Windows R. So he also got restriction. But we know that restriction on domain should not be there, or restriction on domain administrator should not be there. Sorry, I apologize. I said restriction on domain. I should say restriction on domain administrator should not be there. So how to overcome? So again, I'm showing you. One more time, I'll show you. Please see. So this policy we don't want. So come to the GPM console, select the policy which you don't want to be applied on the domain administrator. Select it, right click, edit. After edit, go to the action. properties, under the action, go to properties, then security. Now here add. Same method if you want for S1, S2, U1, U2, any user, same. Write that username. So here I'm doing to domain administrator. You can do same way to any other user also. Exactly same. Just you have to write that name. Over. Then select that user and then use the deny. Under deny, check this box, deny group policy. So the restriction of the run command will be excluded to this user. So this is how we can allow and deny the option, use it. Now here we have to update it, GP update, but for that we have to go to the run command, Windows R, it will not work. Then how to overcome this issue? So you have to just log out and re-log in. So when for this problem, just log out, all control insert, sign out. Now log in as a domain administrator. Everything we have to do in DC machine. Now see here, now you can update. Now you can update. Now the domain administrator can able to open the run command, yes. Windows R, yes. He can able to go to the notepad, yes. But others can't do. So after a few days, there was a lot of problem facing the user. So the company decided that this particular policy should not be applied to any user. This restriction of the run command should not be applied to any user. So as an administrator, you will go to each user and remove it? No. So you have to remove that policy. So when you know how to create the policy, you should know how to remove it. So please see this last one. So if the company decide this particular restriction should not be there, so every policy, whatever you are applying, first you are writing what GPO. So all the policies will be written in GPM console under the group policy object. So just double click or expand it. Double click or expand it. So you will see all the policies which you are implemented. So now you don't need this particular policy. So you don't need this particular policy which the company decided to remove this. So as an administrator, you go to the group policy object, select the policy which the company don't want, select and delete. Select and delete. After this, compulsory you have to update, GP update. Otherwise that will not become effective. Now all the users can go to the run command again because that policy has been removed. That policy has been removed. So now what we can do, we can verify it. Just log out. I came to the member server, log in as S1. Now can you go to the run command? Yes, Windows R. Now can I able to come? Yes. Can the U1 can do or U2 can do? Yes. Because that policy has been removed. So everyone can able to do it. So if you want to remove that complete policy, go to the GPO and remove from it. If you want to exclude a policy to particular user, I shown you how to do it 2 times. So these are very, very important. Now, if suppose somebody asks you how to check what are the policies applied on a particular user, how to check it. So for that, you can go to the GPM console, right click on group policy modeling, click on group policy modeling wizard, next select the user, browse, skip to the final page, click on detail, you can see the policies. Let me show you. Now somebody asks you, I want to check what are the policies applied on S1, how you can show me. So you can just open the server manager console. All the policies will be there in GPM console. So using the tools, you go to the GPM. Now here, you select this group policy modeling, right click, select the GPM, group policy modeling, right click, group policy modeling wizard, next. Now here, next. Here, select the user because we want to check for user. Select the user, under user information, select the user, then browse. write the name of the user, check the name. Okay. Now here it is written to skip to the final page without collecting additional information, skip. So if you don't want to give additional information, you check this box so that we can skip to the final page without collecting additional information. Next, next, finish. Now it will show you. Do you want to check the detail? Yes. You want to check the detail? Yes. So you click on here, detail. Now, can you see here what are the policies applied? Now for the S1, restriction of notepad is there, restriction of computer icon is there, restriction of C drive. So this is how you can check it. I hope you understood this. I hope you understood this. Yes. So these are the ways by which we can apply the group policy on OU, domain and site. So today we discussed how to apply the policy on OU, domain and site, and also how to remove the policy and how to check what are the still policies applied. So with this, we have completed today group policy part 1. So today we concentrated mostly on how to restrict the resources. So tomorrow we will be having group policy part 2, where we will be discussing tomorrow mostly how to provide the resources. So tomorrow our focus will be on how to provide the resources. Today our focus was mostly on how to restrict the resources. Tomorrow we'll see how to provide the resources. So for that, we have to discuss group policy part 2. So up to this we have done today. So tomorrow when we start the session, we'll be focusing on how to provide the application software deployment to the user, folder redirection, and this scripting. So this will be our tomorrow session. So tomorrow we don't have much theory, but how to provide the resources that we are going to discuss in tomorrow's session. Okay. So if you have any questions, any doubt regarding today's session, please ask. Yes, any questions, any doubt, if you have, please ask. Yes, I'm waiting for your reply. Any questions, any doubt? Okay. So if it is clear, shall I wind up the session then? So tomorrow will be the continuation of the group policy part 2. So where we will be focusing mostly on how to provide the resources. Okay, fine. So that's it for today. Thank you, everybody. I'm closing the session. See you tomorrow. Thank you, everyone.